Have you ever believed in something so much that you couldn't see anything else? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to look at two amazing stories about trust and see how sometimes believing a little too much can get you into a bit of trouble.
So it brings up a pretty big question, right? Can having too much faith actually be a bad thing? It sounds a little strange, I know, but let's find out together.
Okay, so our two tales are about two very, very different people. First, we have a farmer who trusts in God completely. And then we have a trader who, well, he only trusts in himself. Let's see what happens to them.
All right, first up is Lencho. He's a simple farmer, a really good man. And his faith in God, wow, it's as big and wide as the giant fields he works on every single day. For him, God is just a part of everything.
And on the other side, we have the trader. This guy is, well, he's super confident. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room, always. He's so sure of himself that he makes a huge bet, his beautiful horse, that nobody can trick him. See, he doesn't trust in God. He trusts in his own brain. Okay, let's start with the farmer's story. We're about to see what happens when Lynch's big faith runs into a really, really big problem.
And then, oh no, a huge storm hits, a hailstorm. It just destroys everything. His whole crop of corn is totally ruined, gone. His family has no food and they're facing starvation. He feels like he only has one hope left.
So what does he do? Something pretty incredible. He decides to write a letter to God. Yep, you heard that right. He sits down and writes a letter directly to God, asking for 100 pesos to help his family survive. And just so you know, pesos are a type of money, kind of like dollars or rupees. So he's not just asking for a vague miracle. He's asking for real money to buy food and plant new seeds. This is serious.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. The postman finds this letter addressed to God. At first, he laughs. I mean, who wouldn't? But then he thinks, wow, this person's faith is incredible. He just can't let that faith be broken. So he gets an idea. He asks all his coworkers for a little money, chips in some himself, and altogether they collect 70 pesos to send to Lencho.
Okay, let's hop over to our other story. Remember the super confident trader? Well, he's about to get his big ego tested. He walks right into a tailor's shop, thinking he's completely unbeatable. So the tailor has a plan, and it's brilliant. It's all about distraction. First, he tells the trader how amazing he is. Then he starts telling the funniest jokes and stories you've ever heard. And while the trader is laughing his head off, the tailor is secretly snipping little bits of his expensive cloth away. The trader has absolutely no idea. The story says the trader was basically drunk on jokes. It's like he couldn't think about anything else. He was so busy laughing that he totally forgot he was supposed to be watching the tailor. He forgot all about his big bet. All right, so let's put these two stories together for a second. We have two men, and they're both being tested, but in totally different ways. Think about it. Lencho's problem was a huge storm, something nobody can control. The trader's problem? A very clever person. Lencho asked God for help, but the trader only trusted himself. For Lencho, this was about his family's survival. For the trader, it was all about his pride. Okay, we've seen the problems. Now, how do these stories end? This is where we get to the really surprising part. So Lencho gets the letter with the money. He opens it up, and he's not happy. He is angry. Why? Because there are only 70 pesos, not the 100 he asked for. He's so sure God sent the money, he thinks something else must have happened to the rest of it. So he immediately writes another letter to God, and in it he says, "Thank you for the money, but next time, please don't send it through the post office, because those people are a bunch of crooks and they stole some of it." Isn't that wild? His faith was so strong that he couldn't see the kind people who actually helped him. He thought they were thieves. And what about our trader? Well, while he was busy laughing at all those jokes, the tailors stole from him, piece by piece. His own confidence, the very thing he was so proud of, is what made him so easy to trick. And then the tailor basically tells him, if I keep making you laugh, there won't be enough cloth left for your coat, and then you'll stop laughing and start crying. Wow, the trader's own amusement was used to fool him completely. So what's the big idea here? Lencho's faith in God was so strong, he didn't see the good people right in front of him.
And the trader's faith in himself was so big, he didn't see the tricky person right in front of him. For both of them, being so sure they were right actually made them blind to the truth. So it leaves us with this one last question to think about. Who was really more blind? The man who trusted God so much he blamed good people, or the man who trusted himself so much he got tricked? It's a tricky one, isn't it? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.